Complete authority from him in the middle as Manly kick off, and it goes out to Gartner to bring it back for the Tigers. And Haggett's up there quickly to make the tackle with Vaughton. Well, Steve-O, what chance Balmain?
Well, they've got to put points on the board. As I said earlier, Jim, they really have got to throw this ball, everything into the first 20 minutes. They've got to put the psychological lift, get a try, maybe a couple of goals.
Here's Roach off Hemsley. Let's see how these Balmain forwards go. You'll remember their effort in the first 20 minutes last week against South. Sensational. As Gales kicks charge down, and Jack's got it, and Jack brings it up beautifully. Manly chased well to charge the kick down, but a beautiful pick up by Jack at the back. Now it's Elias settling it down.
He's a man that Manly's got to watch. He had a great game on Tuesday night against Norths. If he starts taking control, it's going to cause a lot of problems to Manly.
Now it's Roach in the middle on that concrete-like area in the centre of the SCG. Gales kick back to Marty Gurr. Maybe a bit nervously grasping the ball as he's a very experienced player back in first grade this week. Shearer's gone onto the flank and they've put Bosted on the reserves bench. Shearer loses it. Bridge gets it to Schofield. So Manly come up with a mistake. And a great opportunity for Balmain. That's Brooks. They're lined very deep. There's Gale. Jack. Covered by Vaughton. Hemsley. Cleaned up by Schofield. Balmain a bit flat-footed in that attack. Roach. Always the danger man. Breaks the line. Here's the last tackle with Gale. The chip towards the centres. Conlon was there, but Vaughton's come away with it.
Good play by the Manly skipper. Never took his eye off the ball then. Under a lot of pressure.
Mitchell Cox in the background took a knock to his shoulder. Daly. Roach over the top.
Cox is going to be a key figure in the Manly side. Last week against Parramatta, he kept switching the ball back inside. He's got to get this link going. Get the three-quarters running out wide.
Well, there's Cox. Moving okay, but the shoulder was certainly worrying him a moment ago. Gary Jack down there with Gartner. Here comes Lyons. Too quick for Lyons. And Shearer makes the arrest with Cleland. He put his foot on the line. Gartner put his foot on the line. So it's a great gain for Manly after that big kick from Mitchell Cox, forcing Gartner into touch.
Good play by Shearer, and there's no doubt about it. Touch judge right in front. Gartner had his doubts. The touch judge didn't.
Cox. Close. Oh, he's made the bust. Chris Close right through. And beautifully covered by Gary Jack. But what a burst by Close. He used his pace and weight. Now it's Cox. Hasler. Hasler busy in there. So Manly finding a gap or two. Charlie Hackett, he's close, he's in. The replacement hooker has scored the first try. And Manly, after an inspired burst by Chris Close, get the first points on the board.
This really was good play by the substitute hooker. And it really is a case of not knowing your opposition. They didn't expect that from the youngster. And Charlie Haggett, what a dream start. If it had been Cochrane, they'd have expected this, but not from this guy. And let's not take away the quality.
Now Vaughton and Close, as well as Lyons and Steve Roach being called up by the touch judge. But that doesn't come to much. A little bit behind the scenes, Steve Roach and a couple of the big Manly men involved. And Cleel will be doing the kicking today in place of Mal Cochran. He's had some good days over the course of his career as a stand-in kicker. He kicked regularly at, I think when he was at Easts for a while there. I can remember him doing quite a bit of kicking, but he hasn't been a regular kicker this year. Knowing that Cochran's been in doubt all week. He's had some practice. And this is in a convenient spot. Close to the posts. And Cleel's kick is there. So that'll be a boost for his confidence as a stand-in goal kicker. Manly, a very handy early start to this game. As many points after as many minutes. So Manly, with Haggett again, give it to Lyons. Balmain's defence looked a bit suspicious before. And Manly, if they get a run on here, Steve-O, they sense that there's a few gaps. They've got the men to take advantage of it. Look at this, out to Cox. Blake's ball hurried. Borton's out wide. He's got Shearer with him. Shearer cramped for room and covered by Bridge.
Well, you're right there, Jim. I mean, we saw them demoralise St George on the same pitch. And people like Blake and Shearer, they've got the speed.
This is Jack. And Hasler's there to make the tackle. And, of course, Manly have got the record in the competition. The most number of points this year. Davidson in the middle, 476 points, 76 tries and 84 goals. If they get going, they can be dynamic. Now it's Schofield caught by the Manly defence as Balmain swing it back to Gale in the middle. All flat-footed there again. It's Brooks. The record one apiece this season. Manly won the first round 16-14. Balmain the second round 14-9. And Conlon's gathered in by Cox. Here's the last tackle for Balmain. It's Gale. Wide of Marty Gurr. Davis.
The hardest thing for Balmain now is not to lose the composure. They wanted that early start, but it's gone Manly's way. It's going to take a lot of effort now to get back into this game.
Daly. Good support from Haggett. Now Hardy again with Cleel. That's Gurr. Now it's Jack and Gardner teamed up again. So the kicking game working pretty well for Manly. Often we've seen it go back. And Balmain under some pressure trying to move it downfield. Jack's been in the play 10 times at least for Balmain. Hemsley.
The main advantage, Jim, is that Manly are kicking away from Jack. They're kicking into the open space.
Gale again. Ross Conlon. Schofield. And that's Blake. That's Gale. Now Gurr back to halfway. That's Hasler. Daly. Haggett. Manly again, exploding up the middle. And Balmain, even early in the game, looking a bit weary with their defence. Very shaky. Here's Phil Blake. Don't let him run. Now Cleel's dropped it. Lyons Cox has picked it up, but he's going to go for the knock-on. Balmain have missed 8 tackles so far. and a couple of them of consequence there in the middle. Very, very hot conditions here. It's getting on for summer in early September. Now, earlier today, Penrith bowled over Illawarra. They eliminated them from this year's competition. And it was a big performance by the North Sydney reserve grade. Some revenge for the losing on Tuesday night in the firsts. Olsen Filipina had a beaut game. Terrific. Carved them up before he was replaced late in the match. That's Jack. Hardwick. Gale. Brooks.
There you can see the Manly's defence very keen to get up to Balmain.
Roach.
This hot weather, Jim, it's going to go against Balmain.
Ross Conlon. Bit of a link out wide. He was looking inside then for Jack. He'd overrun it. Here comes the last tackle. Now Elias has kicked into some open space towards Shearer. And Sirinen driving him back. That's Gurr. Hasler. Hardy. And Balmain, all offside. A couple of their forwards standing wide inside the 5. And another chance for Manly to get down an attack in Balmain's territory, leading 6-0 after 12 minutes.
Balmain a little bit flustered here by Manly's opening, but full credit to the Sea Eagles. They're playing with a lot of composure. They're not seen to be rushing things like they have been in the last couple of weeks.
Now it's Daly. Daly in there with Roach. Did well to slip it to Haggett. And Balmain having difficulty putting the man on the ground at the moment. Daly winning that little battle in there with Roach. Lyons sets it up. Hasler's got it. Cox. Cox steps beautifully. And he very nearly slipped them all together, but Lyons has got it now out to Blake. Kick for Shearer. Here comes Shearer. Look out, it's a try to Shearer. Well, Balmain just wouldn't make the tackle. Manly kept it alive, and the result was a beautiful little chip kick by Blake. You'll see it all, and Manly steam ahead.
Good play by Lyons, kept the ball alive. Hasler running across. Now you see Cox step back inside, make the half break. Now this was on for a good pass, just held through, slips it away. Lyons notices that the Balmain defence has not moved up. Blake gets interfered with here, but Hasler says, get out of the way, this is my try. And I'm sure Blake won't mind that. Now watch this play by the lock forward. This is why he's been tipped freely to go on the Kangaroo Tour. Now watch Cox, he goes back inside, and it's just last gasp defence holding the ball away, but he slips it away here. Lyons backs up. Ball out wide. Now Blake sees the opening. Watch Shearer come through. He pushes Blake out of the way, and a great try.
Noel Cleal, confident after the first kick. This one's just across the face, and Manly still have a very, very good lead early in the game. 14 minutes, 10-0 in front. And it really is all Manly just at the moment. Balmain, no commitment in defence there. They weren't interested, some of the Balmain players, when that ball came across the line.
Going to take a tremendous effort by their skipper, Ben Elias, to lift their spirits. 2 tries early in the game.
It's back to Shearer. Now Hardy. Roach in there. And Hardy gets away from him. It's not the Steve Roach that played against South Sydney in the first half last Saturday. And the result of all that frustration for Balmain in not making the tackle, They're swarming all over the man on the ground, and they've conceded the penalty.
Well, that's a key word, Jim, frustration. There you saw Surinan coming in late, rolls all over him, tries to plant his head in the ground.
Their tackling's just so ineffective up front.
They just lost so much composure, Jim. I don't think they expected Manly to come out firing this good.
Well, Manly a chance again. Haggard gives it to Daly and Balmain. Look at them. Across the line, they had to be 10 metres back at the mark, and they were barely 5. Now this is a chance for Cleal to have a shot at goal. Roach is saying something to Elias, and perhaps a little dejectedly Elias is coming up to talk to the referee, and he gets the message. You've got to be back 10.
Well, we call that cheating in the game of rugby league, Jim, and that's cheating from a side that is very, very tired.
It's showing it, isn't it, already?
It certainly is.
They haven't been able to lift their legs.
They're trying to sneak up those extra yards. They realise they're not running up with the same effort, enthusiasm. It's gone. But let's not forget, last Tuesday night, North Sydney took them right down to the wire. Took a lot out of this Balmain side.
Now Cleal, just to the side of the posts. He's hit that one better. So Noel Cleal, 2 out of 3, and Manly lead by 2 converted tries, as it were, 12-0 after 17 minutes.
What a great start for their coach, Bobby Fulton. He certainly knows the tactics now. Just keep their composure, not do anything silly, and utilise the kicking game to its fullest.
Conlon's kick, Shearer may have given it back. Now here's a chance, but Surinan dropped the ball. Well, it bounced for him, but he couldn't hold on to it.
Still lackadaisical here, the winger Shearer. Bit of an awkward one. Surinan had all the time in the world. Things certainly not going Balmain's way.
Hasler. Close. And he's just the man to give the ball to against a tired-looking defence. And it took a good effort by Brooks to hang on and stop him careering away. Cox again with Cleal, another big, dangerous man. They've got it on a roll, this Manly side now. It's Hardy with Hasler. Hasler slips out of it. Knocked down by Hemsley there. Counts should start again. No, he didn't signal that. Hemsley got in the road. They have Daly will play it. Here's Cox. Back inside again. Didn't find the man with the pass, and it's got to be tidied up by Shearer. Back to Hardy. And Hardy's pass is not a good one. So Manly had a bit of an opportunity there, but let it slip.
Silly play by the Sea Eagles. They don't need to play like that. Not with a 12-point lead. No need to panic.
Through Bridge. Jack in the line. Caught by Cox. Gale with Conlon. Hardwick. Now Gale. Bridge. Surinan. Oh, makes it available for Bridge. Out it goes to Schofield, but it's forward. Balmain's best attacking move of the game, and the man involved in it so well just before that was Surinan.
Well, there's no doubt about the English centre. He overran the pass. He knew he was offside. Good play by Surinan, though. Got the ball away from him.
Tight head, Balmain. Gale's got pace and he'll score. Scott Gale, another individual effort. Well, you saw his brilliance on Tuesday night, and from nothing, he scored a try. Manly's defence, non-existent that time. And Gale given a bit of space on a tight head, mind you. Scored, look at this.
This is bad play by Hasler. He beats him all ends up here, and Close just stands there and watches. That's just what the doctor ordered. Good individual try. There you see Close stood, pedestrian. Not this fellow. Plenty of speed.
Conlon, it's a goal. 12-6. Balmain, a burst of confidence with that extraordinary effort of Scott Gales there. And he's the one player in the Balmain side who's got that initial burst of speed to beat someone. And Manly just cooling it for a moment. Tight head win and a try, just like that.
Certainly the lift they were looking for.
Frank Stanton, very, very nervy before the game, as he often is for big matches, well, for any match. It's very edgy. And Manly make another boo-boo. They put it out on the full. Well, it's an extraordinary game, isn't it?
Certainly is, Jim. This really is a bad mistake. A tight head. Kick straight right into the touch.
Shearer putting it out on the full, and that's Balmain's first penalty of the match after 22 minutes.
Well, just it appeared what it looked like Manly were going to take full control, leading 12-0, coasting it through. They started to panic, and the nerves have hit them.
That's Gardner. Balmain now, renewed enthusiasm. Hardwick will play it 30 metres out. Gale's there. Bridge, Schofield.
Well, that try of Gales is just what the doctor ordered. The crowd sends it, and so do the Balmain players.
Roach. Last tackle, Balmain. Gale, Schofield. That's Conlon. Lost it in the tackle, and it was a good heavy tackle with Hardy and Hasler in there on Conlon to jolt the ball loose.
Good play here, but just not looking forward, but Hardy coming right in. That really was a bone crusher. Woof.
Almost another tight head, but Manly have come up with it. It started to go back the other way, but the Manly front row were able to get it. Underneath them all is Hasler. So Manly got to get back and concentrate again. Discipline has been a worry in their game throughout the year.
Well, for many seasons, really, Jim, but let's not forget the fact that Charlie Haggett, he wouldn't have played for a while. There's Roach swinging the arm again.
Look at this. Oh.
And then you wonder why they look confused at the referee. Probably disappointed he missed. As I was saying, Jim, it's going to take a while for this Haggett to get used to the front rows, Hardy and Daly.
Daly. Hardy. And that's more of the old Tiger defence. With Brooks and Surin in the second row is driving Hardy back. Now Haggett does a Krilich and a Cochrane for Cleal. The big man's on the loose. And support from Blake. Look at this fella fly. Kick and chase. Davidson back there. And it goes into touch.
Well, it looked exciting, but Blake did the wrong thing. He had men inside. Great run and a great pass from Cleal. Now, he should have looked inside there. He had Hasler on the inside. There was two Balmain players here. He really was testing his luck. That was a wasted chance.
Has Hasler feeds it in the second row. Now have a look at this. Oh, Hasler was definitely put the ball in the second row.
Never any doubt, Jim.
Davidson. That's Hemsley.
Working or
Sirinen. Hardwick.
Balmain looking for that break round close to that play the ball area.
And Elias's kick finds touch. So Balmain have come back into this after Manly dominated and led 12-0. A shock try really on a tight head win scored by that elusive little player Scott Gale. And we now have 13 minutes left in the first half.
Great fight back, as you said, Jimmy.
Balmain get another penalty.
Well, I said he was going to have a few problems getting used to these props. That's Charlie Haggett.
So Balmain have had the last 3 penalties in the game. And another opportunity to create something in the Manly quarter here. Now it's Gale to Bridge. Here's Conlon. Underneath was Cox. Bridge. Brooks.
Watch for the switch to the blind.
Roach. Davidson. Daly and Blake there. Elias. Gale. Bridge. Conlon. Bridge again. Now Hemsley. Elias. Gale. Gale sensing a chance again. 10 metres out, Balmain. Elias with Sirinen. Look at him stretch and score. Well, if that try doesn't get him a kangaroo trip, I don't know what will. He just ate them up there. They were very, very reluctant to go in as he strode out and scored the try. Watch this.
They didn't want to know it. Cliff Lyons made an awful attempt. Now this really was bad defence, but good play by Sirinen and the striding second row. Good try.
Unbelievable. Balmain with this kick. He levels the scores, 12 all. 11 minutes left in the first half.
What a great fight back. That is real Tiger spirit. The game was virtually over for them. They looked really tired, down in the dumps. Took an individual effort by Gale to pull them back into the game. And if Manly are going to rest on their laurels so early, it's wide open.
Now Shearer's kick. Infield this time. Gary Jack. And Jack, a great burst, has gone right through Manly. Kicks ahead, the chase is on here. But Shearer's back there, so is Davis. But what a performance by Gary Jack from his own line. Balmain have got Manly caught in possession, 20 metres from their line, and Davis is down with an injury.
Great run by the fullback. Gets a little bit interfered here. Girth, well, turn his back on him. And Davis, well, you'll see it as he goes down. Puts his body in between the player and the ball. And Jack did come in pretty heavy.
So Davis down injured. When Davis is down.
Well, it's all right, the crowd booing. They didn't receive the knees into the ribcage.
Now here it is from the kick-off. Look at this. This is the Australian fullback, the number one guy, Borton and Cleal, just clutching at him.
And Hardy. And they're shot to ribbons at Manly.
And we go back to the action as Davis recovers. Hasler, that's Hardy.
Well, the boot's on the other foot now.
Hasler again. Well, Manly have got to get themselves together. They went to sleep on the 12-0 lead. Borton. It's Cox. Davidson's there. Now with Jack.
Once again, we see the Manly players going high. You've got to get this fullback's legs. The only way you're going to stop him.
Is Gartner. Gale. That's Hemsley. Roach. Gale again. Conlon. Jack. Schofield ran out of space.
A lot of indecision there by Schofield. Should have stepped back inside. Nowhere to go. Well, you've got to take your hat off to the Tiger spirit. The game was virtually all sewn up as far as I was concerned. Trouble is, Manly thought so too.
Now it goes back to Cox. Balmain up in the line very quickly. Lyons. And Schofield be called out. Lyons retaliated. A bit of cooling down here. Robert speaking strongly to Elias and Roach after that. Now you can see
there's only a little one, Jim.
There's Bridge in there with Schofield. Lyons retaliated. Now what's the upshot of all this? He's speaking to Lyons about lifting his knee. And he's ended up giving Balmain the penalty, and Conlon's going to have a shot at goal.
So often, Jim, the retaliator gets penalised. A bit like the zoo out here, lions and tigers.
One just fell off the cliff. So Manly had the ball, they were going forward, and Balmain on retaliation have ended up with a penalty. Just a little cross breeze here. Shouldn't worry Conlon if he hits it. I don't think he has. He's pushed it wide and Cox has got it. Such a fine line between a good and a bad one, that round the corner style. And Conlon offline. This is Hardy. Oh, Manly, you've got to pick up the pieces a little bit. 12 all at the moment. And Haggett knocked off. Haggett, having started the game so well, has had a few problems in the scrums. And there he maybe just took his eye off the ball, whatever. He made the fumble. Now it's Bridge. Jack went inside. Davidson. 6 minutes left in the first half. Gale and Elias. Nice dummy, Elias, and he'll score the try. Benny Elias scores. Oh, man, swallowed swallowed the dummy, and Elias said thanks a lot and steamed in. Look at this.
Once again, look at the defence. They took the dummy there. Daly, poor attempt. And he'll love that. Just watch how he runs across. Switch round, watch the ball go away. Oh, dearie me. That really was bad defence.
So can you believe it? From 12-0 behind, Balmain lead 16-12. And it should be 18 any minute. Conlon throws another one over. And Balmain lead by 6 points. Full credit to them for the way they've come back. But Manly, they've just collapsed.
They put the cue on the rack when they were leading 12 points to nil. They felt that this Balmain side would just sit down and die. They haven't. Full credit to them, as you say, Jim. A great fight back.
Yeah, it's hard, Vic. As Sirinen Roach, that's Jack. Conlon.
They're just ripping them to pieces, Jim. The Manly defence is totally gone. The confidence is building every second with the Balmain side.
Well, the Scola's going to play it. No marker. Another run by Gale. Last tackle for Balmain. 4 minutes left in the half. A field goal from Elias. No. He hit the flag on top of the post. It very nearly came right inside. I think Kevin Roberts looked at it and said, this is close. What am I going to rule here?
Can't get any closer than this, Jim. Hit the top of the flag.
So Manly bring it back. Shearer decides to turn it around, and he's put it out on the full. He's put it out on the full. That breeze coming across the ground today, slight westerly, carrying the ball over the touchline, and it'll be a scrum for Balmain to feed.
What a tremendous turnaround.
Now they've got Bridge, Conlon, Davidson's here. That's Bridge. Balmain ahead by 6. Gale. Oh, he finds the gap. He's gone through and caught just short of the line. If he could have given the pass, Roach was waiting for it. Elias goes for the field goal, and this time he kicks it. So Manly may be lucky there. It could easily have been another 6-pointer. Instead it's just 1. And Balmain ahead by 7.
Good play by the skipper. Should have been a 6-pointer. He decided for 1, and that's equally as valuable just going in towards a half-time break. But this Manly defence is just shot to ribbons. They're not moving up in one line. And they're allowing people like Gale to run riot.
Shearer kicks off. Jack again. Jack is taking the knock there up pretty slowly. Brooks. A minute and a half left. That's Roach. Full steam ahead now for Steve Roach. Sirinen every time breaking the line. That's Brooks. An incredible transformation in Balmain in the period of about 10 minutes there as Gale looks for touch and finds it.
And they can thank that man. It was his individual brilliance got them back into the game. His speed and step.
It's Cox. Close. Powering it back. Here's Shear up. They keep it alive. Haggett gives it. Knocked down by Balmain. Now Hardy. That's Davis. And into touch. Well, Steve-O, approaching half-time. Can Manly get back into the action? Here we see them running out a bit of room over there through Davis.
Well,
time just about up.
It's going to be a big problem for them because psychologically, Balmain are going in well in front, even though it's only 7 points difference, 19 points to 12, Jim. But Manly...
Balmain, they're the team in the driving seat at the moment. Can they sustain it for another 40 minutes?
It's going to be very difficult, but it's interesting to note that Manly, I'm sure Bobby Fulton would have read the Rye attack, especially in the defence. That's going to hold the key.
Now Shearer lost it. He's dragged away by Elias. Now Hemsley slips it back. Conlon's going to chase it. And you can see Bevan out on the field for the Tigers. That's Bevan. Oh, that was a poor pass. The idea was good, but Brooks and Gale couldn't link up. It went forward, knocked on. Brooks
now
just overrunning it.
Balmain, number 16, Paul Bevan is on the Sydney Cricket Ground, replacing Gary Bridge, number 6.
And a tight head. No, a penalty to Manly. Not retiring, Scott Gale.
Lucky to get away with that one. They're having a lot of problems, Manly, in that front row. And apart from the front row, I think they're going to have a lot of problems psychologically. They're not the best side in the world, Manly, to get out of trouble.
Balmain won the only tight head in the first half, and Manly missed 11 tackles in the last 10 minutes of that half, with the total errors Balmain 28 and Manly 19.
And 2 vital missed tackles led to tries.
So can Manly get it rolling again? They led 12-0. They're down by 7, and that's Daly. Someone pick it up. Balmain are onto it. Hemsley's got the ball. Manly very tentative at going for the ball. Here comes Brooks.
Well, that little passage of play more or less said it all.
Penalty to Balmain. The ball was stolen and called held. Clear in there with Lyons. Lyons goes in.
Well, Jim, it's times like this that you'll find Balmain will be using every little trick in the book. They'll be having a few words in the Manly players' ears. They'll be calling them all sorts of things.
That's Davison. Balmain ahead by 7. Driving it up with Brooks. Now Elias. That's Roach's ball for Sirinen. Watched closely by Cleo. And the fumble from Bevan.
Bit overexcited Bevan there, but it's good play by Balmain. They're switching this ball to the blind side. No doubt about that. Left his hands.
Manly have got it. Hasler. Cox. Close. Had one great run early in the game, which was followed up by Haggett's try. Now Lyons. But after the first 15 to 20 minutes, we saw no more of Manly's attack, more of their wilting defence. So it's Davidson playing soccer. And Vorton comes through on him. Schofield.
Well, there's little doubt that Balmain would have to tire, especially after playing on that Tuesday night, Jim. But the adrenaline, they're holding that 7-point lead. The adrenaline will keep them going for a long, long time. And unless Manly strike back quick, it could be just too late.
Roach. Fields got him. On the concrete. Gale. Gale in command again.
That's a type of kicking game that Manly should have been utilising. Beautiful kick. Took his time. Gave himself plenty of space. And that's out of control again.
A lot of trouble in this front row. Elias went after it. And they've got a penalty against Hasler not putting it in straight. I think some frustration for Hasler, knowing that Elias is beating his man to the ball all the time.
Well, a bit dubious there. You just saw on the replay. The Balmain hooker was right across.
Yep, there was nowhere for him to put the ball.
6 of one, half a dozen of the other in my book.
They're always a lottery as Bridge gives it out to Gale. That's Hemsley. Roach with Davidson. Elias. Now Gale. Bridge. Conlon's ball with Jack. The marauding Clearland cover. That's Bridge. Elias, Gale, kick and chase. Someone pick it up. And it was Gurr at the back. Cox lost it. Balmain have still got it. No, it's a knock-on. Thought he's going to let that go for a tick. But Cox lost it, and Balmain, Sirenen, I think, was the man in there. That was Brooks, and if he'd come up with it, big chance for them.
Well, it's the Balmain feed.
It's a tight head to Manly. Well, I wonder what part the hookers had to play on that. Any?
No.
Barely got past the props foot. But Manly have come up with it. So that squares the ledger. Lyons hassled, plays it to close.
I shouldn't say that, Jim. I'll be struck off the hooker's roll.
Daly, strong defence from Sirenen coming in on him. It's Cox doing the dance. Last one coming up. Gurr pounding it back. All those Manly men offside. Gartner. So 8 minutes into the second half. Balmain still lead by 7. Here's Jack. Roach. Bevan.
They're playing the right tactics, Balmain. They're playing that blind side as much as they can and getting the ball out wide.
With Bridge, it's Conlon. Lyons bumped him over.
They're stretching this Manly defence.
Schofield. Gurr's back there. Now Gurr has to get out of there. He gets past Schofield, who wraps him up just in front of the posts. That's Haggett. Started the game very confidently, scoring a try.
Well, that's good hard work by Daly, but that's not going to win them the game. We've got to see more of Cleal, Hasler, Blake. They've got to inject themselves into this, take control of the attacking game.
Gurr. Hassled again. Last tackle coming up now. Manly very leaden-footed at the moment. It goes to Cleal. Cleal puts it back beyond Gary Jack. In the first 10 minutes of this half, Jack slipping there has been Balmain, really. They've had the territorial advantage. Davidson around Borton. Philip Blake's onto him. Gardner.
Good play by the winger, taking a lot of pressure off his forwards.
Now it's Gale again. Roach, full of determination, trying to cut his way clear in the middle. Hemsley. Manly allowing them to run again. Here comes the last tackle. One man there. It's a field goal attempt from Brooks, but it's wide. That was extraordinary. Jack fired it to the only man on the blind. They're all lined up on the open with the last tackle. And then Brooks tried to reap it through for a one-pointer. Now Manly take it up the middle again.
Well, he may have gone for 1 point, but he got a real chin wag from his skipper, Benny Elias.
Now Elias did the hassling that time as it goes back to Borton.
Well, Manly just don't know what's happening out there. There's no one taking control.
That's Cleal. Haggett. And Blake. Blake into some space. Davidson's there. And Manly's first real thrust in the second half. Here's Lyons. Lyons with support. The drop by Cox. It was looking good, but Cox couldn't hold the ball.
Good play by Lyons. Kept back inside. Realised that there was thin on the blind side. And Cox, well, he doesn't need telling.
Lyons is down. He took the tackle after that pass. Gale. That's Bridge. Bridge copped a bump. Brooks.
Balmain playing very safe football. This is what Manly should have done when they took that 12-point lead.
Hemsley.
They're doing nothing silly, the Tigers. They've got it all organised out there.
Elias's ball for Bridge. Now Davidson. Bridge again. Davidson. Gale. Looks for touch and finds it.
Well, it may look pedestrian at times, but Balmain realised this 7 points is going to be very vital. The minutes are ticking away. Manly are going to start off to look for desperation play.
Cox down in the background for the Sea Eagles. Lyons is out of the scrum. Straight through the tunnel. They've got it. Lyons. Knocked away by Balmain. He says play on. Bevan gives it. Bridge is close. Well, that was an interesting one.
Well, he must have been offside.
It was definitely handled by Balmain and went forward. And he said play on. Well, Gale's in front of the posts. And it's going to be a penalty. And he sent Lyons off for using a knee in the tackle. He sent Lyons off. And he's telling one of the Balmain players, Roach, to shut up. Now have a look at this.
Well, a good step by Gale. Yes.
You can see his right knee going in.
S-I-double-L-Y.
It's the second time. He got him earlier in the game. And there it was.
Silly, stupid, and Manly, you can say bye-bye. 1986.
Number 8 has been sent from the field, Cliff Lyons.
That long walk off for Cliff Lyons.
And imagine,
We'll say it all, Jim.
imagine from what you saw there, the charge will be for deliberately kneeing an opponent. And in a way, it was frustration again for Lyons. You saw him losing his cool in the first half when he retaliated in a tackle and gave away a penalty. Very undisciplined football from Cliff Lyons. And he's paid the penalty in the second half.
Certainly has, Jim. It's been undisciplined football by all the Manly side.
Now Conlon should throw this over for the fourth time today. And the lead now 9 points for Balmain. And so the history books are proving to be correct for the Balmain side. 3 times on 4 occasions that a side has won a playoff for 5th place, they've gone on and won the next match.
Only Penrith being the exception last year.
Now Bill Kane is coming on for Balmain, I think, and there's also a replacement for Manly.
And it's Mitchell Cox who's leaving the field.
Now Balmain has got the ball. That's Sirinen. And a good break by Sirinen. Balmain up against 12 men. It's Roach. Well, Balmain haven't got any replacement out there as yet. But I think you'll find that Manly have.
Number 6 for Manly, replaced by David Ronson, number 40.
David Ronson just made that tackle. He's replaced Mitchell Cox. Another good kick by Balmain. They just keep playing the game down at this end. And that'll be a penalty against Gary Bridge. The ball wasn't even on the ground. Now Manly have got a lot of work to do here to get back in the match. Noel Cleland there saying a few things. He's got to assert his authority.
Well, we saw Balmain fight back, but I really can't see this Manly side, not with 12 men. They must be thinking in their own minds they had this game all wrapped up.
Balmain caught offside. Same as the first half. They're up inside that 10-metre range after a penalty. It could yet be a great finish to this game. Both sides with everything to play for here. Hardy, and perhaps in desperation now, Manly will shoot it wide. Not at the moment. Daly's caught up in there. Haggett goes up the middle. 12 men against 13. You wouldn't like those sort of odds. But there could be 13 very tired men there soon. And Cleal, look at him go. He's a real danger. He slips it to Haggett. And it goes on to Hasler, who scores! Manly score the try. Unbelievable.
Put this down to the hooker. Good play, good backing up from Noel Cleal. And really, this puts it back in perspective. This is what they were looking for. This is what I was looking for, to see some effort. And good play by the hooker. Gets the ball out to Hasler and in for a try. Pressure, pressure, pressure. And they've come back. I never thought they could do it with 12 men. Good run by Cleal. The hooker, Johnny on the spot. So too this guy. And that guy, great try.
Hasler scores the try, and maybe Manly have got it going again. It's been one of those extraordinary games that you so often get in the knockout series of the semi-finals. Cleal's conversion. He's poked it through. And so the game is back to a 3-point margin. 3-point margin. And we have 22 minutes left. A little bit of tiredness there in Balmain's defence.
There certainly was, but there was a lot more effort in Manly coming back into it.
He used some of those big men. can make the breaks. Strong stuff. Defence from Gale and Elias. Here's Cleel. That's Ronson, the replacement for Mitchell Cox. And Balmain have got a man on there at the moment. Johnny Owens.
Well, Ronson appealing to the referee that he was held, but there's no doubt about it. He was moving all the time.
That's Bevan. Awkward ball for Conlon. Now to Schofield. Schofield gets around the man. Shearer came in to pick him up. And finally tackled him. 30 out. That's Owens. That's Bevan. Right, now let's try Brooks. That's Owens. And Cleel makes the tackle.
It's a vital time for Balmain. They haven't got to panic.
Sirenen. Oh, Sirenen strides ahead again. The big man almost got there.
He should have passed though, Jim. He had Conlon outside him.
Gale. Elias. That's Brooks over the top. Bevan. Gardner drops it. The line was beckoning, but I think the cover was there in any case. But they may have missed their chance a moment ago when Sirenen was pulled down short of the line with support outside.
No doubt about it, Jim. He should have looked for Conlon. Looking for a little bit of glory there with the second rower when he could have sealed the game.
Now Close has been called up, and I think that was the incident back there with Sirenen when Close slid into him on the deck. May have gone in with the knee. Balmain get the penalty. And this time he's calling up Haggett and Hasler.
Well, there was no doubt about it that time. Old-fashioned style there, Jim. Hooker right on the ground.
And the ball slotted behind him. So Balmain are leading by 3 points.
Just under 20 minutes remaining.
Here's Gardner. Now Elias. It's Owens. Roach. One-hander and a try to Davidson. Yes! Davidson scores the try. The Manly defence has been dragged in, remembering they've got 12 men. And Balmain back to that 7-point lead they had at half-time.
Well, the enthusiasm was going good for Manly, but they've given it away again. Good dummy here by Roach. You can see that Shearer's gone out of his place. And a simple try. Good play by the prop forward through the dummy. Watch Shearer go through. Bye-bye. Long ball. No one at home.
Well, Frank Standen, you think he'd be smiling, but there's still some time left. The Tigers' claws are out. And it's been a mighty effort by Balmain today. They were down 12-0. Then they led 19-12. Manly have come back with a try with Lyons sent off for going in with the knee. And now Conlon has a difficult kick to convert. Conlon to convert Davidson's 7th try of the season. Not far away either. So Balmain ahead by 7 points with 17 minutes to go.
Well, just as the Sea Eagles fans had their chance get back into the game, they've blown it again, Jim.
Marquito's come on for Steve Roach. Well, this is the ground where They scored over 50 points against St George, this Manly side. And the good thing about the replacement they've made is that Mike Marquito didn't play in reserve grade. There he is with the ball. He was kept fresh for this encounter. That's Hemsley.
And that in itself, Tim, is a good move by Marquito and the coach, Frank Stanton.
Gale kicks for touch. The only thing about that, of course, is that the Norths happened to beat Balmain in reserve 26-0. And what...
There's only first grade that counts, Tim.
Here's Ronson. Well, the effort's looking worthwhile at the moment for Balmain, as Daly goes back, and a new sense of purpose about Balmain since they got back into the match. Their forwards driving Manly back when they can. Gale slips it there to Haggett. That's Hasler. Hasler's away. Hasler looks for support now. He finds it in Hardy, and Hardy's pass is knocked down. Shearer's back there. Count starts again. Shearer gets out of a couple, and Manly counter-attack. Inside the Balmain quarter, it should be a penalty. Very close to it. He's going to play on, and Close has to go ahead. A misunderstanding there as Cleel came up for the ball. Now Haggett through Blake. It goes out across the line there to Vaughton. Hasler again. Gurr's in the line. Gurr down over the quarter. He got it away to Ronson, but that was forward. But the one earlier to Hardy wasn't forward. That one certainly was.
Manly replacement on.
No doubt about it, Jim. Ronson came in far too quick. Should have held back. The chance was on.
Hardy's off, and Pocock is on for this rather beleaguered Manly side. 12 men, Lions sent off.
Well, there's 15 minutes still remaining of this game. Are we going to see a great fight back by the Sea Eagles?
Here's Jack.
Full credit, Jim, to this Balmain side. They've played with a lot of composure. They were rattled in the first 10 minutes.
It's Owens.
But from there on in, it's just been one-way traffic, really.
Gale. The new man, Pocock's in there. Bevan. Gurr. It's Davis. Pocock. And Balmain driving in again. It's been a great effort by their forwards after that opening 15 minutes. Cleel. Blake's kick. Now Jack sees a bit of daylight. Covered up by Ronson.
He's at a top game, the Australian fullback.
Davidson. Gale. Marquito.
That's good control. They're just keeping it nice and steady.
Hemsley.
They realise possession is vital, Jim.
Now Conlon with Jack. Jack slicing ahead, and he couldn't get the pass to Davidson. He couldn't put it on his chest as he went down in the tackle. The play was on, and it was building up to something good here.
Good inside pass by Conlon. Bit surprised that Jack took the gamble and tried to get the ball away. They don't need that. Not leading 25-18.
Manly fumbling with it. Ronson tackle. Hasler.
Well, I can't understand Blake feeding the scrums and Hasler at 5'8". I think I'd have them in reverse, Jim. Blake's had a very quiet game. He's the sort of player that can pull something out of the fire.
Balmain knocking them over. Here's Haggett. Cleal lost it. Balmain had got it back. And Manly looking a bit like shot birds at the moment. It's all Balmain in defence and attack. Conlon. Out wide is Bevan. Gale with Marquito.
Field goal here, just rubbed salt in the wound.
Hemsley and Elias. Elias has slipped them. And he almost slipped the ball to Schofield there. He's so clever at getting underneath them, but they've still got it. Gale now with Conlon. Conlon on the inside. It's Jack. Jack heading for the line. Last tackle coming up for Balmain. They lead by 7. Bevan's kick. It's Ronson off Blake. Ronson around Hemsley. He's got some speed. Here comes the cover. Can they catch him? They're going to run him down, I think. And Ronson not having the speed to get away from the cover. Good work over there by Schofield. And it's Blake caught on the Balmain quarter line, but still a hope for the Sea Eagles here. Quick play they need. Haggett gives it. Shearer's got it. He's thinking of a long ball. Now he wants support. Borton's there. Borton comes down towards the quarter. It's Blake with Ronson again. And Balmain have got the numbers this time.
Full marks to the centre, Gary Schofield. Good cover defence.
Manly just a bit tentative there. And Balmain picked them off. Hasler to play it. Cleal's one of the men they need to break the line. He's trying. And they've lost the ball again, but it's gone backwards. A chance in the corner. It's Gurr. Gurr backing up Haggett to score. And Manly come back again. Just over 9 minutes left, and Manly trailed by just 3 minutes. 3 points.
Good play by Cleal, running from dummy half. Plenty of pressure here, got the ball away. Slips a bit fortunate here. Haggett gets it across to Gurr. And we're in for a final seconds again, but notice the enthusiasm here. Cleal, plenty of strength. This is where they get the luck of the bounce. For the hooker, always Johnny on the spot today. He's done all right. And Gurr in for the try.
So with 3 points the difference, important kick for Cleal. If he can put this through, we'll have a field goal the difference. Remembering, if it's a draw at full time, they play 10 minutes extra each way. 10 minutes extra time each way. Cleal's important kick, but he's missed it. He's missed it. He didn't hit it properly. He's looking pretty weary out there, the big man. But there's still only 3 points between them with 8 minutes to go.
Well, Balmain, they really want to kick up the backside for that. They shouldn't have utilised the kick there across field. They're the ones that would lead in, and that's what it came from. Length of the field.
Conlon's kick-off. Down to Gurr, the try scorer. Gurr sends it back. Gary Jack. And Jack, that ankle is worrying him again. He's been having trouble with that the last few weeks. And the big question now is, can Balmain, even though they've got an extra man, hang on? Clearly looking a bit tired. Manly sense they still have a hope, only 3 points behind.
And they've only got 7 minutes to do it in.
ground and the end.
You can't help feel a bit sorry for Gary Jack there. He's been in everything. He's had a great game. Every muscle, every bone should be sore.
They've had a tremendous afternoon here. Crowd at the ground, and those of you watching it right around Australia, I hope you've been enjoying the action of this really dramatic match. 12-0 Manly led, then it was 19-12 Balmain. Topsy-turvy second half with Lions sent off.
And who would have thought it, Jim? It looked all over at 12-0. Manly taking full control of the game. 20 minutes into it, and Balmain fight back.
Now Elias, it's Owens. It's only a few minutes ago too that Balmain bombed a try, which would have really wrapped it up. Hemsley going ahead. Scott Gale. Sirenen on the inside. Pocock's over there with Daly.
The big decision for Balmain now is whether to hang on to these 3-point lead or whether to go for more points.
Conlon looks around. There's Owens. And it's Elias kicking for touch. Finding it. Just short of Manly's line.
Good kick by the skipper. He knows that it's safety first. Has to come first.
Haslap. Pocock.
Now this is where Manly have to look for Phil Blake. Crusher Cleal or Blake, they're the two that can do it.
There's Cleal. Boy, Balmain get down at this end. They're relentless with their defence. They're chasing. Look at them go in here. And Daly plums with the ball. And they've just kept losing ground since they've won that scrum. And Shearer pumping it downfield. Close to touch too. Oh! It was a bit speculative, but he found the target. And Davidson kept going back and back and back, and it soared over his head and got the bounce.
Davidson caught napping there. You couldn't really blame him because Manly took the big gamble. Long pass right in front of their own goalpost. A great kick for Shearer.
Gale. That's Jack. Oh, Jack again. He keeps bouncing back at them. Gale. Marquito. Inside the last 5. That's Brooks. Gale. Conlon. Jack. Davidson. Conlon's kick ahead. Loose in goal. And taken dead by Shearer.
Good kick by Conlon. Deep into the in-goal area. And Shearer, well, made a bit of a meal of it.
Another reminder, ladies and gentlemen, to please keep on the bracket ground around the relay. Anyone moving on to the arena will be prosecuted.
Here's Jack again. Marquito. Elias. Balmain a chance to wrap it all up here with a try. Maybe a field goal. Gale cuts it out. Bevan ball. Look at Schofield go for the corner. and he got it inside to Brooks, and Brooks will score the try. And Balmain have wrapped up the game now. Gary Schofield slipping a magnificent little pass inside to Brooks.
Excuse my smile here, Jim, but a little bit of English magic. Beautiful ball out wide. Watch the centre, feign to go, good handoff, dip down, slip the ball inside, and let's not take anything away from Brooks. He's the man that backed up, and a great winning try. Beautiful play. This is what it's all about against a tired side. Get the ball out wide, a centre running onto it, watch the fend and slip. Thank you. Backing up, name of the game in rugby league.
And that is the ball game, folks. Manly are finished for the season. It's been a disappointing afternoon for them. They led 12-0, and it looked like a cakewalk. But Balmain have come back. Conlon to add a little bit of extra power to his game. No, missed it.
And now Balmain 29.
So it's still a 7-point lead. Time almost up.
Quite frankly, Jim, Manly didn't deserve to win it after that opening stanza, leading 12-0, 18 minutes into the game. They closed shop. They thought they were well and truly home, but they forgot about the Balmain spirit, and you've got to admire that today. Tremendous effort. They'll be leg weary, tired, bruised, but they're walking off victors today.
Knocked down by Manly. Cleal was the man who did it. It'll be a scrum with Balmain to feed. So a dramatic playoff here. The elimination semi-final between Manly and Balmain. Now Gale caught in possession.
Well, a few reputations have been dented, especially in the Manly side today. The back three, Lyons, Cleal and Vaughton, ever so strong in defence for so long now. The Manly defence fell apart.
That's Owens. Gardner.
Another reminder, ladies and gentlemen.
So Balmain, who finished in the top three last year, were eliminated in extra time in the semis by Canterbury. The eventual winners have another bite of the cherry this year. No one has ever won from 4th or 5th spot, and maybe Balmain can make history.
They sure can, Jim, on today's performance. It was a shaky start, but the spirit, never say die.
They've had trouble in their Manly front row all day, packing a 5-man scrum there. Conlon bumped by Shearer. Almost full time here. Schofield, a dummy half. Up the middle he goes. Hasler makes the tackle. And that's it, it's all over. A great victory by the Balmain Tigers today, winning by 7 points when all was lost after 15 minutes and they were down 12-0. They came back to lead 19-12. Manly had a crack at them in the second half, but you can take nothing.
Fell away late in the season, and they can only blame themselves today.
Regular